Hello everyone and welcome to SNES Super Stars Marathon. I am Fire Waster and with me have our beloved Drunk Strawberry. Hello Shores.
Yes. Hello, hello. Well, it took a bit of a delay, but we're here now.
I'm ready to count the players down, just waiting for their green flags. So yeah, we had a little bit of trouble with this specific run. It was supposed to be a co-op run on the same console, but KVD, aka SNK machine, unfortunately got the positive test for COVID, so they had to do it on different households. Actually, so we will have a slightly different kind of run.
Yeah, this will be the standard two-player head-to-head speedrun. So they start at the first cup, Mushroom Cup, and then run all the way through to the finish line on Rainbow Road and Special Cup. And the one with the fastest time wins.
Yeah, it's 150cc GP, so on pole, so we will have no slight differences between the versions, because there's no Japanese or US, and we'll mostly see them cutting dirt and sand and using items to completely crash the game. This is not the SNK we were used to play when we were kids.
No, well, both are off to a good start, it seems.
Well, they both got their Zoom start, so that's already a win in David's book. So, yeah,
Well,
go
and
ahead.
yeah, at this level, the first race, these players shouldn't be missing zoom starts. You have a higher window to get the zoom start than when you're in first place.
Oh, when Lafungo getting trolled there, I kind of missed what happened. I think he hit a CPU and then went off-road.
Yep.
Yeah, very solid race by KVD. No advantageous items for any of the players, but here we see a quick trick too. They are playing as two players. They have two controllers, so what that does is when you're playing two players, because of the way the game is built, it removes some of the objects in the track, so it makes the track more manageable. It also removes one computer player who can screw you over time. And also, KVD getting a bad mushroom there. He was going for a long boost, but he fired the mushroom late and also didn't jump. So to finish what I was saying, you can quit out as player 2 at the end of the race, so you don't have to go through the splits and stuff, so you gain like 4 or 5 seconds every race. So yeah, a lot of advantages to play this as two players instead of one. And now they're kinda synced.
Yeah.
Ooh, KVD getting body slammed by DK there. A little hug, may say. Mo approved, because that's what happens to him every race. Yeah, tables have turned a little bit. Two races.
Yeah, well, they both had their misfortunes in a race. So there should be head-to-head now.
And on this track we see a quote-unquote shortcut that when kids we thought was only possible with mushrooms or feathers, but on 150cc the kart is so fast that you can do it without the need of any items. So yeah, we'll probably see them doing it every lap. The more coins you get up until 10, the faster you go. So when they get 10 coins, there's no way they're gonna miss that jump. So it's an interesting one. The feather here, yeah, KVD using it for safety measures, so you don't have to worry about timing the jump perfectly. Yeah, so far pretty standard GV1.
Yeah, and the worst part about that jump actually is just the landing. It's not so much the jumping itself, but figuring out how to approach the corner when you land, because it's a
Oh
narrow
yeah,
strip.
it's a narrow
This jump,
straight. When you start turning in SMK, you still have a lot of sideways momentum, so you don't always start turning immediately. That's one of the reasons, like for most turns in the game, you have to start turning early. Because of sideways momentum, you do a wider arch when doing turns. So yeah, if you are not used to that jump, it will happen a lot that you will just turn and fall off the track anyways.
yeah.
If you get the jump right.
Also, the surprise of yes, I made it is a contributing factor in falling off there.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the history of the game has done their first platform jump and completed the lap. And just
Meantime,
like that,
Lafungo,
we're synced.
yeah, Lafungo had a bit of trouble with a swamp in the previous lap.
Yeah, the swamps here are 100% random, so yeah, they are a factor pretty much every race, every time trial attempt. Very annoying. And whoever programmed them is also very sadistic, because when they are down, exactly after you hit them, they start going up. So you have that feeling that you almost made it, but it's not true. It's because when you hit them, they go up. So yeah, it's another way to the game to troll us and show who's in control. Yeah, they're very close right now. And I see a lot of familiar faces in chat. Mike, Summer, yeah, keep spreading the word, guys. I see Mike is lecturing people on the international championships that take place every year. This year, once again, it's gonna happen in Alphen on the Rhine. Sorry if I butchered that one, Shores.
Oh, that's actually a very nice pronunciation.
Okay, that's a win. And it's basically a championship with all 4 modes. It's gonna happen in August, more or less. The same dates as the game will complete its 30th birthday.
Yeah.
30-year anniversary. So yeah, it's gonna be a huge celebration and a tournament. So yeah, if people are interested, I'm sure the guys in chat can point them where to go to check it out. We have more than 50 players confirmed so far, so it's gonna be great. And they are very, very synced.
Very nice. For a bit of background about the players, Lafungo is our reigning European Championship champion. KVD is the SNK Machine is the reigning NTSC champion, if I'm not mistaken, and the world number 1 on time trial in both NTSC and PAL.
Yeah, and it's although Lafungo has been around since 2012, it's still a little bit of a clash of the OG, that's KVD. He's been around since 2003, if I'm not mistaken. and some of the new generation. So yeah, it's Lafungo has been rising up the ranks real quick. He learned the game very fast, and to the point that from 2 or 3 years he went from a middle of the rankings kind of player to a serious contender whenever he attends a championship. So yeah, very good when that happens. It brings breathes new life into the game.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, SPK Machine hit his 2-player character, so he slowed down a bit. So
Yeah,
Lafungo has a slight edge now.
That edge might not last long because KVD has a mushroom, and the long boost in this specific track is very strong. Yeah, KVD gets it, it's gonna bounce.
Oof.
Ooh, when a feather, I don't think he can get the boost. Oh, he can, yeah. Oh, no,
No.
he can. Okay. Fail the boost,
Little
then
bit
jump
of
over
track
the
there.
wall. That's an unfortunate, although he got the 2 best items possible for this track, it was an unfortunate sequence. Had he gotten the feather first, he could have skipped like a whole lap and then done the long boost and bounce around. So getting the feather on last lap there, it's a little tricky because you don't have enough time to build an NBT or a mini turbo to go over the dirt part. So yeah, you lose a lot of speed. You could have finished that lap in like 6 seconds, but in the end it took him almost 10. Yeah, didn't save much time, if any, with that feather. This track is one of the most dreadful tracks in the game. Just want to put it out there. There's a nice trick you can do with the feather, which pretty much skips the whole lap, but I'm not sure people are gonna go for it on yeah, especially since they didn't get the feather beforehand. Very
It's a
easy to
very...
get traffic here.
Yeah. The trick is quite impressive because it's quite hard to do. You need to get a boost and bounce twice against the wall, turn around.
Yeah, I think you can do the double bounce if you get the long boost on the zippers there, but I think if you just go for quote-unquote normal speed, it's harder to get the jump, but you just bounce once or something. This game has a lot of improv in it. There's nothing like set in stone. You have to adapt real quickly to what happens. So that's what makes the game both beautiful and very difficult to run perfectly. I'd say it's impossible to run it perfectly actually, because there are so many variables that no race is ever pristine.
Yeah.
Since this is Paul, unfortunately we'll lose one of the best shortcuts there are in the game, which is the Jesus mushroom. It's when you use the mushroom to bounce on the water, donut planes tracks, and then jump over the walls. On Paul, I think it still works, but it's like 100 times harder, so people will never go for it unless they're completely desperate. Traffic on lap 5 here is egregious, so yeah, good for them for avoiding it.
Second there.
Up next we have Bowser Castle 2, one of the tracks where the feather makes the most difference. It can save like 10 to 12 seconds depending on how you use it, so yeah, both KVD with a missed zone start. I think it's the first one of the race, right?
Yeah.
That's actually a good ratio. The zoom start window when you are in first is 4 frames, but there's on NTSC there's a visual cue you can use on GP, but on PAL there isn't, so it's a little bit tricky because it's a 4 frame window with no other very reliable cues, so you basically have to get the timing right after hearing or seeing the lights go off, so not the easiest thing to do.
Fungo with a slowdown there.
Yeah, he hit the wall and he almost got trolled by Peach, the mini shroom, which is probably the worst troll that can happen to you in a race. Turn small and stay small for what feels like a decade. Very unlucky race for Lafungo so far. I don't think he's got a single beneficial item.
No, pretty much only.
KVD had a mushroom on DP1, and then he had double items on CI1, but didn't make the best out of it. Paul is a much harder game to do the tricks on. The tricks are much easier on NTSC, both feathers because of the speed that you go when you want to jump over obstacles, and also the long boost is way stronger on NTSC. So yeah, the tricks on Paul are both harder to execute and save less time, so it's a harder game for sure.
Yeah, definitely. As a PAL native, when I first started playing NTSC, it seemed much easier to do.
Everything. It's easier to do everything. KVD going for an interesting long boost there. Yeah, didn't work. And this is usually a track where you don't gain a lot of time back or lose a lot of time, but KVD with 2 crashes so far, this might change slightly.
Fungo. Fungo getting trolled by Luigi's Infinity Star there.
And that was so bad because he was trolled after the zipper, so he couldn't even benefit from the speed. And all of a sudden KVD is ahead. This is just because I said there isn't much time to gain. We've seen it all in this race. Wow. So far the RNG is on KVD's side, on SMK machine side, which is not usual. Not something I expected to say, to be honest. And just like that, we are halfway there.
Question: what the point? Second player, is it competition? For a part, it is. It removes just one computer player that you don't have to worry about. It also removes a bunch of items or obstacles on the tracks, making it easier to play.
Yeah, and there's the time gain of quitting out after the race too, so I would say that it makes the game at least like 30% easier. Because the obstacles it removes are like the most critical ones, like swamps and the fish here, which is exactly where SMK machine went over right now. So yeah, it removes like the hardest obstacles to avoid. So yeah, it might seem like it doesn't make a huge difference, but it does. KVD having a little bit of trouble getting that boost build up. I think I missed Lafungo's item because he must have gotten something because he gained 6 seconds over KVD. I'm not sure what happened. See Danger Mo is in chat. Hi Mo. KVD with another mid-zoom start. This is another one of those tracks where the mushroom and the feather are very effective. Feather pretty much skips a whole lap, and the mushroom you can do the long boost and bounce around like we saw on the CI1. So yeah, let's see if any of the players is lucky enough to get one of those items. Yeah, I think we're being very unlucky with his items so far. The first cup, the items are not that relevant. I mean, there is Bowser Castle 1 where you can gain a lot of time, but for Flower, Star and Special Cup, the items make a huge difference. So yeah, it's been an unlucky run for Lafungo, and somehow he's still ahead. So.
Of how good he actually is.
Yeah. He's been practicing this week too. Oh, he gets a mushroom now, which is good because you will lose speed in this track. It's pretty much inevitable, so he's gonna keep it as safeguard.
Is that a wise choice, or do you prefer going for a long boost?
I think it's wise to save it until like last lap. If you were managed to get to the last lap with it, good for you, but what he did there, I think it's the right mindset for this track. This track is very hard. And KVD might be able to get like 4 or 5 seconds back. See how he finished this. And he gets trolled by Luigi, and in the end he gained like half a second. But yeah, both players survive Vanilla Lake 1 with pretty good results, I'd say. 51 here is very good. And we get to the Great Equalizer. This is usually the track that decides if you have a run or not, although on 2-player, since 2 of the thwomps in the corridor are removed, it's not that big of a deal. But when you play single player, those thwomps can just close the door on you, and then you get blocked. You can either try a pixel perfect trick on the left side to get past them, or you have to sit and wait for them to go up again.
Difficulty here as well is the small passages. Pretty much only the start-finish straight is wide enough to overtake the CPUs easily, and otherwise it's very easy to bump into them, lose speed, bump into some other stuff like walls, and rank out.
KV, the SMK machine, he even has a strategy of not hitting that zipper on the corridor, because if you go too fast, it's harder to avoid the CPU traffic. Oh, see, that's exactly what happened with Lafungo. He got trolled by Peach and then hit a bomb. all of a sudden, we are
Back.
synced again. No matter what happens, they just get back to being synced. This is great entertainment. So yeah, MC4 is one of those tracks like MC3 that's there's not much to gain or lose here, but we never know.
No, there's more to lose here than to win.
Yeah, that's true. Because even the mushroom, which is usually a good item on tracks that you have to cut over sand and all, you don't have a very good slash easy place to use it. You can use it in this hairpin that they just went over, but it's a very weird angle and it doesn't even save you that much time, so yeah, it's pretty much a matter of not crashing. Just drive around and hope to finish unscathed. Yeah, you can't get a feather here. Unless you use some kind of cheat.
Sure, there is a ROM hack where you have feathers on.
Activity
The
going
Mario
very
shoot.
quick there to avoid the CPUs. That kind of brought Lafungo back in the mix. He had problem with the CPU earlier, so. But yeah, they are like half a second apart right now. Two very close. I think Lafungo is doing better on the menus too, because he was supposed to be slightly further behind here. But maybe KVD's old fingers are not as good for mashing as are Lafungo, so. Yeah. Average MC4 long boost loses time. 5 people gain time, rest of world loses. I would say that consistently two or three people in the world gain time. The rest, the other, and there are like 3 or 4 which are 50-50 and the rest just lose time. So yeah. Yeah, Neo, Scoop, Sammy can win time with it. Then we have like AVD, I think Lafongo, Jarmo, who can gain time with it half the time, and for the rest of us mere mortals, it's just a waste of time. And they're exactly synced again.
Yeah. Again, this is one of those tracks where you can probably pretty much only lose time on Pal. There's no shortcuts, no easy long boosts.
Yeah, the quote-unquote easiest long boost, which uses these walls right before the finish line. If you get them wrong, you have to do a 180, so even the easy ones are very tricky and risky. Still very much a race, very...
Yeah.
Oh, we almost got the same chrono. That would have been something else. And on we go to one of the tracks where the CPU cheats. They don't lose speed when they go over water, and here there's a part there you have to go over water. There's nothing you can do to avoid it. Oh, Lafungo missing his first zoom start, I think.
Oh, it's rare.
It's very rare, yeah. So this is a track where it's not uncommon to see good players rank out. For like beginners, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, especially if you're still in the phase of your SMK career where you're not using the boosting techniques these men are using. It's nigh impossible to finish this.
Yeah, finishing it first, it's a luxury, honestly. KVD opting not to use the feather there. Lafungo's gonna go for it. Yeah, he's showing his Mario Kart Super Secret background there, going for the mushroom into the water slide. Yeah, showing off a little bit. Doesn't save as much time on Paul, I believe. On NTSC you get very crazy speed when you do that. Had to shut up briefly because the biggest truck ever was passing by in the middle of my sentence. KVD going for a long boost strat here, which consists of hitting a block, getting quote-unquote stuck on the hit motion, and then when you hit the zipper you get a longer speed boost there. It's very tricky because right after that there's this yellow bumper which can send you right into the ozone.
Nice feather shortcut for Lafungo.
Very nice. This feather is not trivial on Paul. Its timing is very precise and aiming too, because you have to leave on the leftmost part of the track and land on a very specific square. So yeah, very well executed by him. I've been having nightmares with BL2.
BL2 is one of those tracks that either goes incredibly well or incredibly bad. Mostly incredibly bad.
Yeah, there's not a middle ground. KVD is one of the best in this track, so yeah.
And even he drowned every once in a while.
I knew that would happen. I should have shut up. I was about to say, so yeah, I suggest you watch rightmost screen, because he's gonna hopping around, jumping over cracks, but then I jinxed it.
Oof. And just like that, Lafungo took the lead again.
Yeah, this is interesting because Lafungo right now is both in racing range and feather range. So there's a finish line trick on Rainbow Road that can save like 7 or 8 seconds, and if Lafungo tries to go for a safe race and KVD manages to get a feather, he can just win in the end. If it's on racing alone, I think KVD can still catch up, like 2 or 3 seconds behind. So yeah, this could be a very, very interesting finish, very neck and neck finish. Not anymore with Lafungo having the feather, unless he mis-executes it, he's gonna win the race.
Yeah. I doubt he go for a mid-lap or mid-race feather skip, because missing that would actually disqualify him.
Yeah. I think that's KVD's best chance right now. Unless he can get a feather on the last lap, he's quite close. Yeah, I'm hoping KVD gets a feather. That could be very interesting. Yeah, he doesn't. Let's watch the fungal screen. Yeah, he gets
very
it.
nice.
Very well executed, 33-35. It was very close in the end, but Lafungo got the items when it mattered the most. So yeah, very, very good race. 8-second save, as we mentioned, and GG's Lafungo. Nice win. Since we are slightly late, I'm not sure we are gonna have time to talk with the players, so I think this might be a very abrupt ending.
Yeah.
I would like to thank everyone who was in chat. Thank you, Chores, for coming.
Cool.
Thank you, SpeedGaming, for having us. Make sure you follow the racers. They stream regularly. And also, don't forget to check the International Championship page for more details and join us. It was great meeting you guys, and see you again next time.
Hey, bye.